Okay, so what we are about to react to, I gotta say, I do not have too much knowledge in this, in these categories. Let me show you what we're reacting to first. We're gonna be reacting to the kids who hacked the CIA. Now, like I said, this is by the YouTube channel Fern. Now, like I said, I don't have too much knowledge in this category, like especially with CIA and or hacking. I don't have too much knowledge into that. However, there was something in the beginning of this video when I started watching it myself. There was something at the very beginning that made me laugh. And so I was like, all right, I gotta do a reaction to it just because, come on. So let's check out this video called The Kids Who Hacked the CIA by the YouTube channel Fern. Let's get it. As always, links to the channel and links to the video will both be in the description below.
It's October 2015, a chilly day in autumn. John Brennan receives a weird phone call. It seems to be coming from a stranger. He hesitates a second, then picks up.
Hello?
John Brennan?
Who is this?
You're a f***ing loser.
If John Brennan hadn't been John Brennan, this might have looked like an ordinary prank call. But John Brennan happens to be one of the most powerful men on Earth, the head of the CIA.
Who is this? How did you get this number?
It was so f***ing easy, bro. You're such a d***.
What do you want?
I don't want anything. I already f***ing own you.
How much do you want?
We want $5 trillion.
The US government will classify this call as part of a larger conspiracy of identity theft, harassment of government officials, and cyber terrorism. The caller will pay a heavy price for this moment of trollish glory.
Why are you doing this?
We want you to stop bombing the Middle East.
But think about it. For this, hold on, let it play. I'll wait for it.
Across the Atlantic, in a house in the West Midlands of England, a 15-year-old kid in his room, the phone still in his hand. He can't believe what he just did. He calls himself Cracker, and he loves to smoke weed.
Now you see why I started laughing. It's not, there's more. There's another reason why I was laughing. Give it a second. But imagine that this 15-year-old kid was able to hack and find out the CIA, a member of the CIA's personal phone number. He was able to prank call him. A 15-year-old kid. What does that say about our protection against digital threats? If a 15-year-old kid was able to hack in and find a member of the CIA's personal cell phone number, what does that say about our digital security, especially for the common people like us? Especially like for defenses against it. Like, how are we supposed to defend against things like that? Like, bruh, that's kind of scary.
In fact, he's high right now. He's also the leader of Crackers with Attitude.
That's why I laughed.
He calls himself Cracker, and he loves to smoke weed. In fact, he's high right now.
Oh shit.
He's also the leader of Crackers with Attitude. He and his
Bruh, why is my pause button delayed? Stop, come on
and
now.
He loves to smoke weed. In fact, he's high right now. He's also the leader of...
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard of NWA, Niggas with Attitude, the rap group, you know, the famous rap group. RIP Eazy. Shout out to Ice Cube. But now let me introduce you to CWA. They don't rap, but they do hack. Oh my god. But I gotta give them props for their name, obviously, because at least they're like hip-hop heads in a way, right?
Crackers with Attitude.
Oh, man.
He and his companions terrorized and embarrassed the US security apparatus to a near incomparable degree. They leaked the personal data of police officers, FBI agents, and DOJ officials.
Damn.
They hand-delivered top-secret documents to Julian Assange. Some of the most publicized hacktivism attributed to Anonymous.
They call themselves Anonymous.
Yeah, it was actually them.
Holy
in
crap.
part
They're
the rules.
anonymous?
And this is their story.
This was political.
Teenager
Cyber attacks.
hijacked the computers of several US intelligence and
Did a
security
collective.
Hold on, this background music, I swear is the same as from JK the Animator that he uses in his Dragonflow stuff. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Where's the one I'm looking for though? Why does this remind me of South Park? Hold on. I'm getting off topic. No. Where's the one where it was Drake? Where it was Kendrick versus Drake? Yeah.
Friends that are supporting this page.
See that? Yeah. The background music. You see that?
And this is their story.
This was political.
teenager
Cyber attacks.
hijacked the computers of several US intelligence
That's the same thing!
Collective called crackers with attitude.
Bro, I want to know what background music that is. I want to know what that beat is. I want it. Not for like, you know, for like background music videos in my videos, but like I want it for other reasons.
2008 in Virginia, a different kid who only calls himself Default. He's a pretty typical American teenager. He loves soccer, video games, and his dog. He often clashes with his father, who works in the government. At some point, Default starts cheating in his video games. This gives him the first taste of using computers to do things that you're not supposed to. Exciting, powerful things. He starts learning all that he can about how computers work and how to get them to bend to your will. 2008 was an exciting time to get into hacking. The decentralized hacktivist group, Anonymous, was in its heyday. If you managed to get into their secret chats, you got a front-seat view of their actions.
Nice.
Anonymous is one of the biggest online vigilante groups. Members hack into companies and governments.
Now a worldwide and widely recognized hacking group.
Hackers with the group Anonymous.
Citizens of the world. We have seen the erosion of due process.
A cyber war. Anonymous has struck again.
Young Default is fascinated. Anonymous
Yo, shout out to the animations and everything. Like
embodies
Has struck again.
Young Default.
Like using this and like with everything else he's been like in the beginning of the video, the animations of that. Yo, shout out. This is well done. I like it.
Default is fascinated. Anonymous embodies an exciting spirit of freedom through chaos. They showed how you could force the whole world to pay attention without you having to leave your bedroom. Some Anonymous actions are political, some are just trolling. And Default, after tasting this very new kind of power, is keen to learn everything he can about hacking. He starts to hack random websites just for the challenge of it, just to see if he can. But after hanging around Anonymous's chats for a while,
Kind of reminds me of Watch Dogs. I feel like at least at the first one, not the second one. No, maybe the second one too. Yeah, the second one actually, not the first one.
he starts to find the group, well, cringe. For one thing, it's crawling with feds. People are getting arrested, and it's tough to know who to trust. Anonymous has become so big that vetting people becomes difficult. There's tons of infighting and doxing. Since it's the only hacktivist group most media outlets know about, Anonymous keeps getting credited for the work of other, often more sophisticated hackers. It's a mess. So Default gets involved with offshoot hacker groups, one of them called AnonSec. The group positions itself as anti-Anonymous. But similar to Anonymous, AnonSec performs operations, hacking initiatives that sometimes have a political purpose, and sometimes are just, as one might say in 2008, sometimes have a political purpose.
Hackers call for PayPal,
and sometimes are just
PayPal boycott. Okay.
Just as one might say in 2008.
With the early May, LulzSec arrives on Twitter and claims its first series of attacks, leaking what it says is a database of contestants on the show X Factor. Lil Sex breaks into the May 30th. Lil Sex breaks into the website for PBS and posts a fake story saying rappers Tupac Shakur and Biggie are still alive. Both are dead. The hack is seen as a repost, as a response to PBS documentary critical of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. I think I do remember hearing a lot of people have always been saying that Tupac was still alive. But there was even like a video that came out about someone in another country that people were saying were making comparisons about, you know, his looks to Tupac's looks, and he was also doing music. They were trying to make comparisons to that music and, you know, Tupac's old music.
In 2010, a rapper named Treach was interviewed before a show. Treach and Pac were tight back in the day and worked on the track 5 Deadly Venoms together. After Treach's interview was over, a cameraman put the camera on the floor, but it was still recording. You can hear the host ask Treach about Pac's death, and Treach says, "Last time I saw him, he was in Cuba, man."
Pac's still alive. Last time I saw him, he was in Cuba.
Pac being in Cuba is probably the most popular theory.
I get to thinking about this shit we've been through. I get to thinking about this shit we've been through.
Original black, now watch how the other react. Original black, now watch how the other react.
About this shit we've been through. Original black, now watch how
past and he said, "Man, are you the internet Tupac?" So I'm like, here I am acquiring another man's fucking beef for some shit that ain't got nothing to do with me.
So, I mean, anyway.
For the lols. I hated recording that. Anon Sec is quite advanced and Default gets better and better at the game. The group controls a botnet. A botnet is essentially a large pack of infected computers under someone's control. You can use those computers to further spread malware across the internet to make the botnet larger and larger. Or you could, for example, attack a server with it in order to overload it. Default is tapping around Anon Sec's botnet and gets curious about what computers they've actually gotten under their control. He finds that one is a server of the Canadian Medical School, Windsor University. Suddenly, Default finds himself with direct access to the university's finances. He pulls up records of students who owe the school money. It all adds up to $9.4 million. And at the bottom of the list, something very tempting. A delete all button.
Oh shit.
How could he not push it?
Now that students don't own shit.
These people don't
owe shit.
You know, really enjoy having their slate wiped clean, as it were. If you look, some of them owe a substantial amount of money, you know, like 70,000. I think some people owed like upwards of like over 100,000. It's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? It's just like perpetual debt that sometimes it just lasts for decades. So,
or until you're dead.
Just deleted everything. I went into the PHP shell and just like sent everything to dev null and just like shredded it. So whatever I sent there is just not coming back.
This is from the pod.
Honestly, like, to be honest, like a lot of people say like college is a scam anyway. Unless you're going for a degree in like microbiology or something like that, something that's maybe microbiology type things or computer science type things, or degrees that or jobs that require years of studying, like or like to be a doctor or something like that. But most degrees are kind of like, you know what I'm saying, it's just you could have, there could be high schools dedicated to teaching what most degrees teach, like for arts, like a high school of arts. Yes, like some of the main classes will still be, you know, everything that the core lectures and stuff, the core things that you're supposed to learn in high school, but the everything else could be just mainly whatever type of art you wanted to go into, like graphic design, motion media design, animation. This could all be done in high school instead of like making college degrees for it, or like political studies. I think there was even a degree, a college degree that's like gender studies. Like, y'all really paying tens and thousands of dollars to get a degree in gender studies? If that was your degree, you did not deserve to have your debt cleared. How many people are pissed off with that? Probably none. I'm too small of a YouTuber.
Cast Darknet Diaries. They have a fantastic episode with Default. Of course, this story poses some questions.
Darknet
They have a
Diaries?
fantastic episode with Default. This is from the podcast Darknet Diaries.
Oh, I see it
They
right
have
there.
a fantastic.
I just want to make sure I put that to the side. It seems like something to be interesting to listen to while I play Wuthering Waves or League of Legends. Follow me on Twitch. Links in the description below.
Fantastic episode with Default. Of course, this story poses some questions. We tried asking the university if the debt stayed deleted. They did not answer. But usually student loans have multiple on and offline and offsite backups. There should be hard copies of the student's signed loan agreements. However, Default feels like he's really doing something at the time. There is a certain rush to committing a crime when it feels like doing the right thing. Other hackers might have used the sensitive student information to make a profit. There's actually a shadow industry worth billions surrounding our most sensitive data. So-called data brokers gather all the info available about us on the internet, your contact information, browsing history, and online transactions. This data is often bundled into shadow profiles, which are then being sold. You might receive a tailored mail
That's
or a
some BS
robocall
too.
based on your shadow profile. In the worst case, someone might try to steal your identity. Incogni helps you remove your data from the numerous lists of data brokers. The only thing you have to do is create an account and allow Incogni to act on your behalf. Afterwards, you can easily track the status of all the requests in the dashboard. Check out incogni.com/ferntv for an exclusive 60% discount on a 1-year plan using the code FERNTV. Additionally, benefit from a 30-day money-back guarantee. Despite Incogni's efforts, some of your data might still linger online. Always remain cautious when sharing personal information anywhere. By trying out Incogni, you're actively supporting our channel. More and more of Default's hacks are motivated by altruism,
which obviously that shit would be very useful, especially in today's day and age, where a 15-year-old can hack and find a member of the CIA's phone number and contact them and troll them.
rather than just curiosity. As recently as 2014, bestiality.
Actually, I bet, what the fuck? I bet a lot of celebrities and people like Bill Gates, like people who are wealthy AF, I bet they use things like that or something better than Incogni.
By altruism rather than just curiosity. As recently as 2014, bestiality was legal in Denmark.
Bro, what?
Other
Wait,
European...
what? It was legal? As recent as 2014? It was legal in Denmark? Amazingly, the Danes, Finns, Hungarians, and Swedes currently say it's legal to have sex with animals as long as the animals are not hurt. But how would you... That's nasty as fuck. I bet there's a ton of furries who are celebrating this kind of thing and moved to Denmark just for that.
Countries, Germany, the UK, Sweden, had recently banned it. What this meant for Denmark was an increase in animal sex tourism.
Wait, let me make sure. I know not all furries are like that. They're just a subset of y'all that are into that kind of thing. That subset is a nasty group. I'm not gonna lie, that's nasty as fuck. Disturbing.
For years, Danish animal rights activists tried to bring attention to this.
They called them dog brothels. So sick. It's so crazy. And I had a dog, so that really pissed me off just thinking about the fact, what if someone took my dog and that happened to my dog? I would freak out.
So, as Default describes it, he and other Anon Sec hackers lend their technical skills to the animal rights movement.
This animation is dope.
I think we took down the official Denmark government website, and then we actually defaced it, and said, did you know that your government allows bestiality? And there's bestiality dens where people can go and pay money to do these things to animals. And most of them are like people's pets.
They shut down bestiality websites via DDoS attacks and tweet evidence of sexually mistreated animals.
Nice.
The information reverberates around the world and is widely condemned. Anonymous gets credit for Anon Sec's actions, which deeply annoys Default. But it works.
I'd be mad
in part
too,
due to the hacks, more people know about Danish dog brothels. They talk about them online, protest them, until the case winds up in Parliament. In April 2015, Denmark finally bans bestiality.
Okay.
While Default is leveling up as a hacker, he also becomes an early adopter of crypto. He accumulates a significant amount of Bitcoin, more than 1,000. This would amount to a lot of money today, somewhere around $40 million US.
Right.
He keeps these Bitcoins on a hard drive in his room. He also knows he's making powerful enemies, so he gets a bit paranoid, a bit fanatical with his OPSEC. He never logs into his own Wi-Fi, for one. He uses a satellite dish to log into a free Dairy Queen Wi-Fi half a mile away. He's always connecting through a Tor node. Every time he turns off his devices, he makes sure they're encrypted. When he turns them back on, he has to wait 30 minutes for them to decrypt. For the most part, he never tells anybody what he is doing. He knows he has a lot to lose. Ultimately, it won't be enough.
But at least he took precautions. I mean, I'll give him props for that. That's a lot. Like a lot of that stuff, I wouldn't. Obviously, a lot of us don't know how to do these things. A lot of these people who aren't completely into the culture of learning how to hack and stuff like that might want to learn to pick up some. You might want to, even if you don't know how to hack, you might want to pick up a few things on how to keep yourself safe.
Back in May 2013, a 29-year-old US intelligence contractor also has a lot to lose. He has his own home in Honolulu, a loving girlfriend, and a salary of over $200,000 per
I used to live in Honolulu.
But he's discovered a huge secret, and it's too big to keep. The US government has the ability to spy on pretty much any man, woman, child on Earth who has come into contact with a computer. And this contractor, unwittingly, has helped make that technology possible. He's haunted by this information and horrified that his government is violating its public civil rights so egregiously. He knows that revealing this information to anyone, a lawyer, a judge, or even Congress, would be committing felonies so severe that he would spend a lifetime in prison. He's worried he'll never see his family again, and he doesn't know what consequences they'll encounter if he blows the whistle. But he has to do it. He's been quietly collecting evidence of this secret for a while, and he's just downloaded the last documents. He tells his employer, the US government, that he needs a couple of weeks off to manage his epilepsy. This buys him a bit of time to leave the country without arousing suspicion. He chooses Hong Kong because he views it as a bastion of free speech. He believes it's one of the few places in the world that could and would protect him from the wrath of the US government. There he meets journalists Laura Poitras and Glenn Greenwald and delivers evidence of what used to be waved off as a conspiracy theory. And so Edward Snowden becomes one of the most important whistleblowers of our modern time. Snowden's revelations scandalize the world and spark a long overdue debate about individual privacy versus national security. He inspires many young Americans like Default to take a good hard look at how their government functions. Default doesn't want to sit around and let surveillance happen to him. He wants high-ranking intelligence officials to know what it feels like to be spied upon, to have their private information stored and distributed, and to have it used against them. This is when he teams up with the crackers without...
Look at the name. I bet they would hate it, which is exactly how people should feel about knowing that their information is being taken, stored, and sold out to other people. Which is another reason why Mark Zuckerberg called people people that use Facebook stupid, like idiots, because we're giving him the information, and like all that information is being just stored and sold to others. Obviously, he says it's not being sold, I believe, or they're not keeping it or storing it or whatever. But if they're not doing it, then someone has a backdoor into Facebook to do it, in my opinion. But yeah, information is valuable. Knowledge is power. Don't forget.
Attitude, founded by Kraka, the kid who's always high.
Shout out to him. Smoke weed every day. Chapter 2.
Leicestershire, England, 2015. In a housing estate on the outskirts of a sleepy former mining town, there's not a lot to do except get high or go online. In the case of 15-year-old Kraka, he spends his time doing both.
Bro, are we just gonna keep? We're not gonna like give him a code name. We're just gonna keep calling him. Hey, I'm down for it. I got nothing against it. Obviously, I think it's. Shout out to him. Shout out to him. CWA baby. Smoke weed every day. I smoke with him. I smoke a blunt with him.
He's angry about corruption, about surveillance, but in particular about the US's involvement in the Middle East. He becomes especially focused on Palestine and sees the US as directly responsible for death and suffering in Gaza. He decides to do something about it.
This was political. We heard he was really angry about US foreign policy. So he started a collective called Crackers with Attitudes, and then he hacked into sensitive documents online.
One of his first victims is James Clapper, then the National Director of Intelligence of the Obama administration. Clapper, one of the highest-ranking members of the intelligence community, had his phone number and address waiting to be found with just one Google search.
Clapper got clapped.
This provides Kraka with enough information to hack into his email. He posts proof of it on Twitter, which catches default's attention.
Hold on.
Kraka then gets the phone calls with enough information and address. Clapper, one of the highest-ranking members of the intelligence community, had his phone number and address.
One of the highest-ranking members of the intelligence community has phone number and address one Google search away, which allowed this kid to get into the email address and do, I'm guessing he's gonna do a bunch of other stuff, but one of our highest ranking members in our intelligence agency just had his personal information in a Google search away. That makes me feel real safe.
Waiting to be found with just one Google search. This provides Kraka with enough information to hack into his email. He posts proof of it on Twitter, which catches default's attention. Kraka then gets the phone calls to Clapper's house phone rerouted to the Free Palestine movement. Default tweets his respect to Kraka, and the two start chatting. Edward Snowden himself has given James Clapper a very special shout-out in an interview with the German broadcaster ARD. Unfortunately, that interview was blocked from US and German television networks. Apparently, the video is immediately taken down every time it's posted on YouTube, so we'll only show the quotes visually.
I would say sort of the breaking point is seeing the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, directly lie under oath to Congress.
What we do not do is spy unlawfully on Americans, or for that matter, spy indiscriminately on the citizens of any country. We only spy for valid foreign intelligence purposes as authorized by law, with multiple layers of oversight to ensure we don't abuse our authorities.
And spying on everybody just happens, whether or not it's for work or just for the lulz, falls under that last thing he said. Because you can say the first part, you know, what we do not do is spy unlawfully on Americans, or for that matter, spy indiscriminately on the citizens of any other country. You can say that part. But when you say that last part, we only spy for valid foreign intelligence purposes
by law,
as
with
authorized.
Multiple layers of oversight to ensure we don't abuse our authority.
You can also say that last part. while still spying on your people for whatever reason.
Kraken and Default are livid.
Just put it
Kraken
under that
and other
umbrella.
hackers loosely
Say it's
connected with
for
CWA team up to target more high-ranking members of the intelligence community. They want to embarrass them and to show them that they aren't as powerful as they think they are. At the top of their list is John Brennan, head of the CIA.
We made a full circle back to the beginning of the show. Chapter 3,
Brennan,
messing with
like
John.
Clapper, has enough information online that he basically doxes himself. Kraken looks up his publicly posted phone number and finds out it's a Verizon number. He calls up Verizon's internal tech support and pretends to be an on-site technician who's having trouble helping a customer on site. Tech support asks Kraken for his employee code, and he just makes one up on the spot. It works.
Bro,
the support
what?
technician provides Kraken with access, and suddenly he has the account number, the PIN, and John Brennan's private email address. If you have just enough information on someone, pieced together from different sources, say their address and last 4 digits of their social security number, you can easily change the passwords on all kinds of accounts and take it over. And that's exactly what Kraken does with Brennan's AOL account.
RIP.
Once he's in the email account, Kraken gets Brennan's private cell number and shares it with Default. And so they start spam calling the director of the CIA, relentlessly calling him and his family.
I told him he was a piece of shit. Basically, like, y'all are awful people. Like, really. Like, you're not doing any net positive things for the world. You're just not.
John Brennan is freaked out. Sure, the calls are little more than a prank, but how could he know that? At the time, nobody knew who was behind the calls, or what their intentions were. Brennan has to lay low for a while in hiding, with extra security details for himself and his family. At the same time, Kraken's breach into Brennan's email gives him access to sensitive documents. Kraken first posts screenshots on Twitter, but then, egged on by Default, and maybe asking himself, what would Snowden do, he decides to hit up WikiLeaks. Julian Assange himself takes interest. He publishes the documents in October 2015. They include Brennan's 47-page SF-86 application, a sensitive form required for obtaining top-secret government security clearance. The form reveals his criminal history, psychological records, past drug abuse, and other details nobody would want about themselves online. Not only that, from Brennan's emails, WikiLeaks publishes Bush-era recommendations for how the presidency should operate in the Middle East. There's also an internal congressional correspondence from the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence that offered suggestions on how to make future interrogation methods, also known as torture, compliant and legal.
Whoa. Whoa. How to make torture compliant and legal. Okay. Let's see. At the same time, this approach allows for the possibility that new techniques that are not explicitly authorized by the AFM, but nevertheless comply with the law, may be developed in the future. This alternative ensures that our intelligence operators know the exact parameters of what is lawful, rather than forcing them to rely on and interpret a manual that was written solely for military intelligence operations.
How to make future interrogation methods, also known as torture, compliant and legal.
Interrogation of
the
terrorists.
breach cost the agency $1.5 million in damages and relocation costs, as several operatives went into hiding before they knew that there was basically no threat level. Above all, it was widely embarrassing. Hacking into Brennan's email was laughably easy.
If this is true, and it's true that you guys have actually broken into his private email account, how difficult would you say it is?
You mean out of 10?
Sure, out of 10.
1.
1.
There's a lot of, I guess, private information, really. He's pretty stupid, really. He's supposed to be so high in the government, like head of CIA, that he should be a bit more clever.
Can you give us any indication of your background? I mean, how old you are? Are you in the United States? I mean, anything you can tell me about yourself?
Yeah, I'm below the age of 20 years old. I smoke pot, and I live in America.
And you smoke pot?
Oh, he did actually say it.
All day, every day.
We wonder...
Smoke weed every day. Bro, I'd still smoke a blunt with him, bro.
What John Brennan must have thought, while undoubtedly watching this in his relocation house. What fury must have built up inside him. The CWA aren't done. They release more and more information. With control over Clapper's and other operatives' accounts, It's even easier to get people to give up information to in turn access further accounts and databases. They gain access to FBI's Deputy Director Mark Giuliano's account. There, they discover a database with personal information of 9,000 Department of Justice officials and 20,000 FBI agents. They post it. They then get access to the Justice Department's Joint Automated Booking System, which has records on all U.S. prisoners. They check out the records of fellow hackers like Jeremy Hammond and post those online as well. They wreak havoc and embarrass one institution after another. Did these kids really think that they were going to get away with it?
At the time, I really didn't care. I just that was towards the end of the run. It was just all bets are off. You know, we had gone all the way down the rabbit hole. I just become very disillusioned with people's complacency and their lack of care for what was going on. So it's we're going to bring attention to this with chaos and mayhem.
Literally one of the best ways to bring attention to the American people, or to people in general, to civilians, because a lot of people won't care about anything unless it starts being, unless mayhem gets involved, so hey, do what you gotta do, right? Just to get people's attention, otherwise they won't care.
Kraka knows his actions have poked a very big bear. He knows there will be consequences. He just doesn't know what they'll exactly be.
I'm gonna go to Russia and chill with Snowden, because I know that the government are pretty mad about this. I'm probably gonna get tortured. I'm actually a pretty fast runner.
Default is paranoid the whole time, constantly worried about his OPSEC. But he let his guard down.
Oh man.
Default became involved with an ex-girlfriend of one of his friends. According to him, he asked his friend in advance if it's okay with him. The friend says sure, go for it. He's way over it. But he isn't. Default and his friend are hanging out one night, drinking and chatting over Xbox Live.
I slip up for the first time ever, being arrogant and cocky. It comes on the news, CIA director hacked, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that was us, blah, blah. I was drunk, talking, and just totally gave myself away.
He never thought his friend would do anything with that information.
But your friend was mad that you were going after his ex and he wasn't over it.
Hell, he didn't even think his friend would necessarily believe him. But today, Default is pretty sure this friend turned him in.
Oh, man.
When the FBI raids you, they don't knock politely. FBI agents enter Default's room just as his computer finishes decrypting. They are pointing assault rifles in his face. They drag him out of his room.
Just as his computer finished decrypting, so now there's access. Now they can get access to it. Oh man, that's bad timing.
Copy his hard drive before it re-encrypts and sees all of his equipment. Default knows he's finished, but the worst part, watching the agents carry off his hard drive. The hard drive with nearly 1,000 Bitcoin. He blacks out. Kraka, too, gets raided by the British police forces, and his computers are confiscated.
So I guess he got busted because Default got busted. So they were able to, once they went through Default's hard drive, they found the conversation with this guy, and they busted him too. Oh, and it's all because of a minor slip up. It's that drunk talk and talking to your friend who's mad at you because you went after his ex-girlfriend. I bet she didn't take him back. And dude is just jealous. Bruh, damn man, you can't trust too many people.
One other CWA member gets arrested in the US and 3 more in the UK. Since Kraka was underage and in the United Kingdom, he got a lenient sentence. He spent 2 years in a juvenile detention center. He was the first minor in the UK to be imprisoned for hacking. Today, he's keeping his head down and is done with crime. He just wants to make a career in cybersecurity and move on with his life. He did not want to give us an interview. Default, even though he was less involved, paid a much higher price. He went straight to federal prison with a 5-year sentence. He had to pay $145,000 in restitution, and due to COVID regulations, spent a significant amount of that time in solitary confinement. While pleading in court, he said, "I thought what I was doing was right in terms of political justice, but 2 years later, I realized I was completely wrong." Snowden, too, didn't have a relaxed time fighting asylum in Russia. Shortly after his leak, intelligence officials publicly fantasized about killing him. Whether you're a principled whistleblower who truly understands the significance of what you're leaking, or a stone teen furious at the world's injustices, messing with the US government will change the course of your life forever. So make sure it's worth it. In December 2023, the Biden administration renewed a very controversial surveillance program. The act allows the administration to spy on anyone in the world without warrant, including its own citizens. It includes a vast database of electronic communications. It's supposed to be accessed only when there's a legitimate reason to believe it will assist intelligence operations. But a US court ruling in
I'm guessing that the FBI misused intelligence database in 278,000 searches. Damn, of course they misused it. That was bound to happen. They only said that it's only for if when we you know, we gotta make sure that we actually need it. And then they're just gonna use it all day, every day, just because loophole. But I'm guessing that, you know, the incident with the CWA helped push through reasons of why helped push through reasons to give the government a access to spy on its people.
2023 found that the FBI has already misused this database 278,000 times. Unlawful searches were particularly rampant between 2016 and 2020. They've snooped in the private communications of donors to various congressional candidates. They've been watching suspected January 6 rioters, and they've also been surveilling Black Lives Matter protesters. Maybe they're even surveilling us.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Lives Matter.
You'd probably be stupid to think they weren't surveilling you. But however, you would think that with all those kick degenerates that have been talking to minors on Omegle and asking them to flash them, you would think that the FBI would have stepped in and taken them down by now. You feel me? Just saying, you know, FBI, you could do that. I wouldn't be mad at that. All the kick degenerates that be on Omegle talking to minors, streaming when minors flash them, and saving those little videos and distributing those videos on Discord to other people as distribution of CP. So, you know.
Wait, listen, how old are you? I'm 19.
Oh, I'm 16.
You said 18?
Yeah.
Also, I had to block you because we were on the block. You're 15. I don't have a problem with you being 15. I love underage girls.
Elmer, how old is she?
Yeah, how old are you?
Probably 15. She's probably 15.
I'm 16.
I have a Tinder girl. I'm gonna set up the camera like a what's it called? Like a hidden camera. Though people are hating in the chat, that's just not good looks to you. I don't care. I don't care. She'll notice, but I feel like girls are stupid. I'm going to hell internally, but I'm fucked up. The secret streams are, fucked up. I take full accountability for that. But in Texas, it's not illegal. But I guess it's a trend to cancel people, and I guess they brought back cancel culture.
This kick streamer just admitted to committing a crime live on camera because he deeply misunderstands the law, and because he thinks he can get away with anything. This video is still up to this day. This is part of a bigger problem, Kick's predator problem, and it's getting worse. There are still kick streamers going live today who seek out minors to rizz up for content.
If the FBI wanted to monitor that shit and take down those people, I wouldn't be mad at it. I'd applaud it. But anyway, that's the end of this video and my reaction to it. That was really good. I'm gonna have to make sure I check out more of Fern's videos, because that was well done, well animated, well put together. Like, man, I'm trying to get on their level eventually. But yeah, as always, links, like I said before, links to their channel, links to their video will be in the description below. Be sure to check them out. Don't forget to do those 3 things I like to ask you to do, and like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And you know what it is after that. In case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace and much love to you.